Think Verizon's best 5G network is expensive? Think again. This season, bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store for a better deal. Then use those unwanted bills to wrap up goodbye gifts to AT&T. Or cut them into snowflakes to celebrate your switch from T-Mobile. 'Tis the season to save at Verizon. Just bring in your bill to your local Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metrics Root Score report dated 1/2025. Your results may vary. Requires postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days and same name as person redeeming deal. Additional terms apply.
What's going on, traders? What's happening? Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach, aka Real Deal Zach, and this is Real Deal Futures. As always, before we hop onto these charts, check out the markets together, get some live trading in. Make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is very risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. I'm just an idiot here yapping for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. What's up, chat? How are we doing this morning? We're getting an early start today, man. I got some energy for you guys this morning. Market's moving. We're going to be taking a look at this pre-market setup. Wanted to give myself a little bit more time to be talking about some of the other tools that I use as well. And market often opens up and I want to focus up. We start talking about the market, right? Looking for trades, watching what plays out, how we can get involved. And I had a couple questions on Bookmap, I had a couple questions on Edgeful, and I want to talk about some of those this morning. Thought it would be a good time to do that. You guys can, of course, always ask trading questions. You can ask whatever questions you want. I don't answer all of them, especially not trading related stuff. But feel free to ask away. What's up, Kick? What's going on to the early risers? Dwayne, Fast Money, Tuhan, Karam, what's going on? What's going on, chat? Welcome back to the show. So we are taking a look at YM here. Starting to sell off right here for pre-market. It is 8:21 a.m. Eastern, just so we're clear. Got about an hour and 10 minutes until NYSE open. We might look for something. I might look for something ahead of that. I started to see this, right in here. Started to see this push to the downside, and it's piquing my interest. Part of the reason I wanted to hop on today. So we'll have to take a look. But yesterday, talk about two trades that I took yesterday to end break even. Technically negative $4. What was the real number? Let's see what was yesterday's P&L. Oh, that's not gonna work. Will this work? There we go. There was my P&L from yesterday. Whopping $4. I don't know how we'll ever financially recover, but I got short in here on the live, half risk, or what I would call like half risk, full stop sizing and half position sizing for me. So took a $400 and some odd loss in here, getting short. Looked for a pop above this all-time high, October high now, because we have a new high put in. Somewhere in here, around the 48,300s. Obviously, you can see how that one worked out. We cracked to the upside and really just continued to push. I got long in here for a continuation trade, right? You watch me do the same stuff over and over and over again. It's either a reversion near the open, before the open, around the open, or a continuation, right? Really, really bullish push. On a day like this where we hold, we set IB high and low. We set IB high second, which didn't technically break. Bullish structure from the prior day, higher time frame, overnight session for Asia London. I might look to fade that off the open, but my second follow-up trade, if regardless, is probably going to be a continuation. In that direction of that trend. So I got long in here, and I caught 100 points to the upside. Decided to take my 100 points. I think I was somewhere in here with an entry all the way down here near VWAP, right? Looking for this VWAP to hold, which it did. We came down a little bit lower, but not before popping all the way up and giving me a chance to grab 100 points and right around break even, right? This one was a full position size trade, 100-point stop loss. Really looking for a crack of that, but decided to manage the trade with some discretion. And that worked nicely because we did come back down and kind of in the overnight session start to trend back down to the downside and then slowly drift. We didn't really have a whole lot more opportunity to grab a break of this IB high and push to the upside. As the day wore on, that looked like the right move. It ended up being the right move yesterday. So nothing to write home about. That's my trading day for yesterday. So looking at what the heck we might do today, man. Obviously, very bullish pop off the open and then a hold. Just a choppy back and forth, tight range. Not a huge daily candle here. Definitely not exceeding any ranges there. Overnight session opened up right back around VWAP or where VWAP was sitting. Popped to the upside, tried to come and challenge yesterday's high, this Wednesday high, but have since sold back down towards VWAP and have now sold down below that. I think we chop like gun to my head, which is kind of what I was potentially looking at. Thankfully, don't have a gun to my head. Something like that could be a play, like right back up to VWAP for pre-market. I think we got a good opportunity to do that. If we start to turn to the downside, right, this is probably an interesting spot on the chart. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you use highs and lows as interesting areas of interest on the chart. But I don't know if I want to take that. I think if we do sell off, we're going to come back down around the 48,000 evens, somewhere down around that level. This is not a terrible play. Could even go with something like that. Get the music back up. Could even go with something like that. Looking for this to continue. But if I'm targeting anything, it's really VWAP right into the middle ground of this this consolidation, maybe a little bit above, and to maintain around a 1-to-1 without intentionally starting with a negative risk to reward. That's what that would look like. I thought we might really aggressively crack to the downside. Finding a little bit of buyers here. I thought we might aggressively crack to the downside and then aggressively start to pop back up. And honestly, the pre-market move that I was looking for was that, you know, like if we really did this and then started to turn, I'd be like late to the party back in here for a move right back to VWAP, right? A little bit more structure. If we continue to the downside, I'm wrong. You know, maybe we're selling off right into the open. We're not going to pop. The dicey part about a pre-market trade like this is, you know, you're probably going to run it into the open, and there's often a lot of volatility into the open. Take a look at 9:30 a.m. right here, right? Take a look at 9:30 a.m. down here. A lot of times we get that large movement. You know, you could see that just take you out really quickly. Can become difficult to trade directionally through a volatility change, and you really don't know how much it's going to be. But I don't mind that one. If I had to take a trade, we'll see how that plays out. That's what I'm eyeballing, right? That's what I'd be calling out. Long back towards VWAP. It's not as nice as I'd like it. We'll see. If we dip a little bit lower, I might take it. Give me a little bit better way to structure risk, right? For a move back towards this, where I say, hey, if we come down through this high all the way back down, I think we're going to settle down here, maybe being pre-market, and I'm just dead wrong. But I got a good feeling I'm going to miss this, and this is just going to pop right back up towards prior day volume point of control. But we'll see. We'll see. You're early today. I am early today, Daniel. We are here early. Carolina, what's up? Juan, morning, bro. The fun tonight. Damn, I go back. Nah, man, listen. I don't have any ego like that. I try to keep it real with you guys. I'm just a regular idiot trying to turn a profit in the markets, man. I'm not the best trader. I don't have it all figured out. I still make mistakes, right? There's certainly dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens ahead of me, and that's okay, right? In my mind, I'm the best trader in the world, and I can do anything that I set my mind to. That's the mindset and mentality that I have, without having a ridiculous, overinflated ego for absolutely no reason, the way you see so many traders have that. But I digress. Coming into 8:30 here, we do have... Is this going to go off? Are we going to... Do we have news right now? Forex Factory's not showing it. Just to show you guys what I'm looking at, I'll come back over to the chart. Forex Factory's not showing anything. The government shutdown is allegedly over. It's going to be back on. Government, they're turning the government back on. The government is awake now. Not much on financial juice, but on Project X. And liquidity's coming off, which is why I'm saying it. Oh, yeah, we're going to see something here, guys. Yeah, we're going to see something. Are we getting initial jobless claims? High impact news event? It looks like it. Bookmap order flow is always a really good wake-up call. It's not an indicator. It's just a wake-up call. When liquidity gets pulled, they shut the algos off. Like you can see right here, starting to get really dark. Typically, that means you know, they're ready for some volatility, but they're not showing it on Forex Factory or Financial Juice. Maybe they're just late to update. I think whatever was signed yesterday, and maybe we come right back into news events. So let's see. About 10 seconds for this one, 15 seconds for this one. Now I'm actually interested. Yeah, Tom Ward asking the same question. We're gonna find out right now. I think we're gonna get something here. Nothing. Literally nothing. All liquidity pulled from the book. Like, algo's off for this one. Maybe that was just already pre-planned by them, but yeah. Yeah, like nothing. Nothing. Okay. All right, whole lot of nothing. So the financial news sites are right. Unless we do something quickly, that's 30 seconds, 36 seconds into it. 8:30 a.m. Nothing. It was removed. Yeah. Morning, Zach. Any idea what happened to CPI plan for today? Can't see anything on Forex calendar. Yeah, says it was removed. Yeah, I said it was removed for sure, and like I wasn't paying attention to it. What caught my eye over here, which is often what happens on Bookmap or any order flow tool that you watch, right before a financial news event, a high impact financial news event, all liquidity gets pulled. The algos, the algorithmic bands that tend to run sometimes on these get pulled. And it's like a heads up. It's like a dark, ominous, like calm before the storm. And it's always a good heads up if I'm not paying attention and I don't have news marked or I wasn't aware of it and I'm keeping my eye on Bookmap a little bit. It gets really dark and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Something's about to happen. You know, that's just kind of the move. But yeah, obviously not going off. I check forexfactory.com every day. That's the one that I prefer. You can tell that I used to trade Forex. It just seems to be easy to read. Pretty reliable. I've been checking Financial Juice now because we just have so much crap going on as well. But we got nothing. No high impact at all for the next 2 days. I would be checking your, financial news site of choice, whatever that is, daily, right? Here is Financial Juice. These are free ones. You can subscribe, you get paid to stuff, get better data. But I'd be checking these daily just to see what updates, if anything gets rescheduled, if anything comes back on. I don't know the protocol. I'm not like the government shutdown expert. I don't know. So I'll just be checking those news sites every morning the way that I do anyway. I check it every single morning anyway. So a couple things I wanted to yap about. Number one, Bookmap over here on the left-hand side. I'm going to throw this up on the screen, and I'm going to throw some links in here because I get more and more people asking about this. Bookmap is an order flow tool. Over here on the left-hand side, this is a paid subscription platform, and you have to pay for level 2 data. What we're looking at here, real quick, just the basic overview, and this way I could direct people to the first 18 minutes of this live. We're looking at live liquidity in the market, and we're defining liquidity as orders resting above and below price. Specifically, when most traders say there's liquidity here, liquidity there, they're talking about a larger quantity of orders relative to everything else on the book, right? Different instruments have different order books, different quantities of orders that are kind of standard. But what we're looking at here is your depth of market, right? This is your current order book. You have price levels. This is ES. Price levels here, right? We're actually trading at, and you can see, on a candlestick chart if you wanted to, 68.55.5. We have quantity of orders in real time, right? Changing in real time right here on this heat map, and then right here on the order book, showing what is resting above and below price, right? Buy orders down below, sell orders up above. As we zoom out, right? We have a historical heat map over here on the left-hand side, kind of like a candlestick chart, right? Outside of the candle that's printing and where price is right here, it's all historical. So we have historical heat map over here on the left-hand side. And it really, to me, just makes it really easy to read where we have high quantity of orders on the book, right? Where we have a standout stack of orders. Like today at 68.30s, we have 222 on the book. A little bit more for pre-market than everything else we have, right? You can use this to your advantage a number of ways. We have some other stuff on here, which I talk about quite a bit. Volume tools down on the bottom. This is cumulative volume delta, the difference between buy and sell volume anchored to a specific point in time. A million other tools you could utilize with Bookmap. This is almost standard settings, extremely basic stuff. I use it in a very, very dumb guy way, the way that I use most of my tools. But that's what we're looking at here. Now, how I might utilize Bookmap, this is YM's Bookmap, right? The Dow, same stuff, a whole lot thinner book, as you can see. Does look a little bit different. In the middle, just so you know what we're looking at, because I really didn't touch on this. In the middle, we have price displayed as best bid and best ask, and then we have volume bubbles over the top of it. You could display candlesticks here. You could display volume with this like pie type of deal. Or you could just display colored volume bubbles. I like the volume bubbles. I think it makes it easy to see what happens as we come down into orders. You can really zoom in and get this extremely granular to say like exactly how many orders are at every single price point, every single tick in the market, right? You could literally zoom in this much if you wanted to. You could look at the spread. You could look at really granular view. I run mine pretty zoomed out just so you know what we're looking at here. But highly customizable, For me, I like it a lot, and I liked it a lot for ES, right? I still do utilize it, and honestly, it's kind of nice to have ES running in the side. I don't like to use correlation or pay attention to another instrument, but it's been nice to transition off of ES onto YM for me because I'm primarily trading YM. But I really did like to see on ES specifically where we had big stacks of orders above and below price. These are often key areas that price moves to and from to go and fill that liquidity, to go and grab those orders, right? If for nothing else, it would make me aware if maybe I had an area of interest on my chart coming off a volume profile, a pre-market high or low, and maybe 5-10 points below that, we had 500 orders sitting and we're selling off into that. I probably want to be aware of that. I want to be aware that when we get there, we often see an increase in volatility. We see a lot of volume traded, and that can mean some quick price movement, maybe a reaction, maybe a continuation through, right? So many narratives you can create with this stuff. There's the real market auction theory that you can, study for this. I like to look at this, again, like a dumb guy, the way that I do for most things, and pattern recognition. Really, really simple pattern recognition. What happens when I see this over and over and over again? What's a little bit more likely to happen than not? I also really do like the cumulative volume delta from Bookmap specifically. I haven't played around with too many others, but using level 2 data, anchoring it to a specific point, and watching that CVD as price continues to move can be a pretty interesting one. It gets pretty hard to dispute. Again, it is that one is telling you the difference between buy and sell volume, right? Anchored to a specific point in time, just exactly what it says, cumulative volume delta. How you can use that to your advantage is if we are selling off, for example, right? If we're pushing to the downside and we have a growing positive cumulative volume delta displaying that buyers are continuing to step in, there's oftentimes, right? Not all the time, oftentimes that price is not going to continue to the downside. We are seeing heavy buy-side volume stepping in, and there's a good chance of a reversion, right? Maybe you're looking for trends to continue or to start to fade. If we're pushing to the upside and we have a aggressively growing CVD, positive 10,000, 15,000, it keeps climbing, that's often an indication, right, that what's happening on the volume side, which you can see through price a lot. You can see through traditional volume. You can get this stuff from other tools. It's no magic. It's just the way that it's displayed, right? Like any other indicator. Oftentimes that continues, right? Oftentimes we see some follow through with that. It can absolutely cook you. We can have, the opposite happen where we are just negative, 5,000, 10,000 and prices just continuing to trend to the upside, right? Kind of like any indicator. Or tool that you might use for volume, right? Price is going to do whatever it wants to do. Maybe these can give you a little bit better indication over one thing of another happening, maybe a little bit better way to structure risk. I really like specifically order flow for areas of interest, right? It's another way to look at horizontal areas of interest on my chart, right? If I'm trading ES, I probably want to be aware of that 6830 level. They oftentimes, which I'll also note, coincide with other levels on the chart, really clear levels on the chart, right? Prior day highs and lows often have a lot of liquidity, either maybe stops as well, but buy side liquidity or sell side liquidity above and below price. So not magic. You don't need Bookmap. You don't need order flow to be profitable. I think it can be helpful because it's displaying new information, right? Any indicator that you would add to your chart at like 99.99% is going to be price, time, or volume, right? Historical volume, as in volume that's been traded at a specific level or time or whatever it is. It's just going to display that, right? Order flow, and you can get this, level 2 data and display it however you want, maybe in a traditional DOM and a different type of software, is giving you a different piece of information. It's giving you live resting orders, and they change in real time, right? Above and below price from a centralized exchange, reliable. The same stuff that you're looking at is the same stuff that I'm looking at. Whether or not that's helpful to you, or if it's just more information that you have to process that you don't want to use, that's up for you. That's up for you to decide. I think we see many traders use order flow to some degree or another, right, in the futures market because it can be helpful, right? It can be helpful, but not all. Plenty of traders do without it. They trade forex, they trade CFDs. They don't have it. They don't use it. So Up to you, right? It was not available to me in the Forex and CFD market. I use it secondary. It's definitely not my primary, forte. I'm not an expert with it. I don't claim to be. As I go on longer and longer, I think my pattern recognition gets better. My implicit memory gets better. You start to notice these anomalies that occur over and over again. If you want to check it out, obviously what I'm displaying up on the screen, wild deal at a Bookmap. This is, again, a paid software, right? And paid level 2. You have to pay for level 2 data no matter what you're doing or where you are in the trading space for futures. 3 months of Global Plus for $147, and they have Bookmap data, which is what I'm using right here, at least for ES. I think I have Rhythmic for YM. Is also a discounted deal, pretty solid discounted deal. I would say if you wanted to try it out, you probably got to give yourself 3 months to check it out. It's not something that can be, in my humble opinion, just picked up and learned like right away. Maybe I'm a slow learner, but I think it's like anything else in trading. It does take a while to get a good feel for, to really build some experience on. But that is Bookmap. If you guys have questions on Bookmap, feel free, let me know. Bookmap's site, which I threw in there as well. You can see Bookmap discount sitting in the chat. Also has a ton of videos. They put it out free. It's a ton of educational stuff. If you wanted to learn about it, you wanted to check out order flow, I think that's a great spot to start. So I'm going to try to give you guys all the sauce this morning before we get rolling. Again, I'm partnered. I'm affiliated with Bookmap. I'm partnered. I'm affiliated with Top One. I'm partnered and affiliated with Edgeful, which I'm about to show you. Right? I'm happy to tell you that. I'm biased. I can't stand to be unbiased if I stand to make money, which I do. Right? I was using Bookmap, been paying for it before I was partnered and affiliated, and I'd probably be paying for it and using it if they said, "Hey Zach, you suck, and we don't want you as a partner anymore," because I think it's helpful, right? I do think it's helpful. I was like a kid in a candy store when I came over from CFDs and Forex, which many people don't know. There's no reliable volume data. There's no centralized exchange, right? The broker's making the price. That's the slang for it. In futures, we have reliable volume data, right? The price on my chart, exactly that open, high, and close, the wicks, the volume that's traded, the order flow, it's all the same because it's coming from one centralized exchange, right? The CME, the CBOT, and the example of Chicago Board of Trade, the example of YM. But it's reliable, right? And we can use these tools, or at least have a little bit more confidence in these tools, than trying to rely on some volume data from an individual broker when you have no idea where they really stand in the world against everybody else. So I like these tools. I like some of these tools. That's my Yap Fest on Bookmap. So aggressive selling pressure here, right down towards this high, man. Here's kind of what I was talking about. Do I want to try something right into the open? 8:43 a.m. Coming into this 9:30 open, about 45 minutes. I do think we have a pretty good shot to just dance right back up here to VWAP. But I don't think I'm going to take this one in the live account. Don't think that I'm going to take this one in the live account. Because I do think we could crack right back down to this area of high volume here off of the open, come down and sweep yesterday's low, pick up some stops down here, shake out all the longs that are sitting, maybe even fake out everybody to the downside. But I'm tempted to take this in another account. See what happens down here. I think we find buyers around this high. This was the prior all-time high from October, right? Do I have my chart marked up correctly? Yep. Prior high, right? Broke it in an uptrend. YM is a little bit aggressive, man. I think if we sell off today, which it looks like we might, we could come down here and check out the 47.8, right? Another 250 points below this area of high volume right in here that I got my eye on. Sorry guys for zooming in and out. Just want to be able to see where this is. Yeah, the 850 level. 48.050s down here. Yeah, we cracked that. We could be in for a little bit more of a move. But first, I think we pop back to VWAP. let's see. See what the market's got for us. And all right, second one that I wanted to yap about, right? So we talked a little bit about Bookmap. I got videos on Bookmap. Second thing that I wanted to yap about. And again, I'm affiliated with these two software companies and Top Point Futures. That's pretty much it as far as the whole spiel goes. But I'm going to drop this in here. I don't think I've yapped about Edgeful on the live session yet. I don't think I've shown it on the live session. I used to be more partnered and affiliated with them. I got a link for a discount, a code, or whatever it is. I use it myself. All right, I use it myself. I think it's helpful. So I'm gonna talk about it, right? Talk about a couple of reports that I use. This is Edgeful. What they are a data provider. You can get this from other places as well. You can just back test it if you want. But what this is going to provide statistics, right? Objective statistics, which I like. I like clear math around specific price movements, right? So what we're looking at here, for example, I'm going to show you one that I like, right? One that I like to pay attention to. We're looking at reports? Yeah. This is the initial balance breakout report. And you probably know what initial balance is, but if you don't know, it's the first 60 minutes of market open. The area that price trades from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. It's called initial balance, right? We have stats behind that range, because that's all that is a range. If we break the initial balance high, how many times, how often do we come back down to break the initial balance low? A strong statistic exists behind that for YM, for ES, for others, right? You can look by different months, right? Different quantity of time. Let's just, for example, get a lot of time in here and say over the last 1 year of data, right? If YM sets a range, the first hour, which it does every single day, right? Price is going to trade. If we break the initial balance high, how often do we come back down and break the initial balance low? Here's the numbers for that. Over the last 1 year of data, if we break the high or the low, 72% of those days through the rest of the session, we don't come back down and break the other side, okay? Only 24.12% of the time are we breaking both sides of that range. And only 3.89% of the time are we not breaking either side of that range. Now, does this mean that this is going to play out every single day? Absolutely not. Guess what? Just yesterday, we had a day where we didn't break either side, right? We had that inside day, a no break day, right? This can be helpful. Does this provide you a 72% edge? No. Does this give you some exact way to trade and you don't have to do anything else and structure risk? Absolutely not. But I think it could be at least important for newer traders to be aware of these patterns that play out a lot of the time, significantly more often than not, right? I would say 72% of the time, one thing happening over another is something you probably want to be aware of. Now, a lot of times traders will say, yeah, Zach, that's obvious, right? If we set the first hourly candle, then we go and break the high, we typically don't come down and break the low, right? It's a nice bullish day. We get a continuation. That might be the case. And I think if you looked at Edgeful like me, you'd find reports where you were not aware of. You were not, they surprised you. I'll show you one in a second that's a little bit interesting to look at. Just to talk about this a little bit more, you can customize this report. You can look at many different subsets of this report. There's reports that say which side is formed first. If we form the high first of the initial balance and we form the low second, right? So we trade to the upside, we trade all the way back down by a strong stat, almost the same percent. That low is more likely to break first, right? So even once it sets, before it breaks, you have a really strong stat around which side is more likely to break first, right? They have stats around if we break one side, how far do we go, right? Tons of different reports like this. I'll show you one that's, this is a range report. There's average ranges, average session ranges, daily ranges. There's gap fills, right? If we open gap up or gap down, how likely is that to be filled in the next trading session, right? It's a really popular one that people look at. You can see the stats behind it, right? If we open gap up, 64% of the time we're filling that gap. If we open gap down, 68% of the time we're filling that gap, right? Maybe not as strong, but it does explain it down here. They have videos on this. They show you every single, past day. They have indicators for trading view if you wanted to check that stuff. But I'll show you another one that's kind of interesting. This one's a really, really strong stat. And here's one that I really wasn't aware of, right? I really wasn't aware of. Power hour breakout. This is measuring how often, what percent of the time do we put a new high of day or a new low of day in the last hour of trading, right? Objectively. A very low percentage of the time are we putting a new high of day, and an even lower percent of the time are we putting a new low of day, a new high of day, a new low of day in. If you're trading power hour, which many traders do, and I was, and you're getting long, for example, at 3:30 p.m. on a day where we pushed up to the upside, and your target is past high of day, you have to recognize that 72% of the days, objectively, over the last year, we didn't go put a new high in, right? Same thing for the shorts to the downside. Over 80% on YM for the last year of data, objectively, we're not cracking that low, right? Now, a lot of other, information is useful, right? Where is price relative to that low coming into power hour? But I think things like this, objective stats like this, can be helpful to be at least aware of if you don't want to go ahead and trade alongside of them and create trades around them, which many traders do, right? If you're trading from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern and you have a stop below low of day, right? 80% of the time, 80% of the days over the last 1 year, which I think is important to talk clearly about this, that's not getting ran, right? That's a pretty good number. Does that mean that your entry's in a good spot and you're going to make money? Does that mean you're not one of the, almost 19% of the days where it does go and get ran? No, right? Anything can happen at any time for any reason. But statistics around price movements in the market, I think could be super helpful. When I was introduced to this, I thought it was very interesting. Like I said, I think a lot of them are not obvious, but if you back tested, if you traded for long enough, you would probably recognize, I'll give you another one, right? An opening candle continuation. The first 1 hour, right? If the first 1 hour prints green, what percent of the time do we close the day green? Well, you could probably say that we usually close that day green, right? If we open up to the upside for the first hour, we print a nice green candle, we put the IB low in first and then the IB high in second, that's traditionally a green day. But you might not know that over the last year of data, 72% of the time, that's a green day. We don't come back down and flip that day, bearish. It's not common, right? Same with a red day, right? If we open up to the downside, that first hourly candle is red. Almost 70% of the time, that's going to close on a bearish daily candle, right? That's going to be a red day. Some of this stuff could be helpful, right? Is it enough to again just say I have a 72% win rate or edge, or like the way that people talk about these and misrepresent it? No. This is just objective data and stats around very specific price movements. A lot of other things come into play. Is there a news event on this day, right? What does pre-market look like? What range are we trading in? What is the overall trend, right? Because these things will get skewed over short periods of data. And I think it's really important to take into consideration, a whole lot more context than just an individual report. But I do think a lot of this stuff is very helpful. It's very clear cut. It's not an opinion whether or not this stuff is happening. You can skew it by looking at specific, short ranges or long ranges. But I think some of this stuff is really interesting. They have a ton of other ones on here, man. A ton of reports, almost too many in my humble opinion. What happens if we go and break the overnight range? What happens if we go and break the session range? The Asia range, the London high or low. What happens if we break prior day high and low? More often than not, like what happened over the last 2 years if this happened on the chart, right? And this way, when it happens today, you go, okay, now I know that over the last historical amount of time, XYZ has happened 75% of the time, right? This is kind of what we do in back testing. This is what we're looking for. Patterns that continue to repeat themselves over and over again. Not with anywhere near 100% accuracy, but maybe a little bit more often than not can give us an indication of that pattern maybe playing out today, right? Maybe it just gives you a way to structure risk like I talked about. A little bit more confidence on where your stop should go if you're trading power hour back into the range, right? That type of deal. So you can see the couple I got bookmarked over here on the right-hand side. I really like the stuff around initial balance. I think that's interesting. I really do like the stuff around power hour. I thought that one was interesting. I had it made aware to me, right? Somebody like a couple times, and then I talked about it. I was trading Top Step TV at the time quite a bit. I was trading power hour. I had a regular segment on there, and a couple people would be like, "Damn, bro, you're like," I'd be shorting the market. At 3:15 p.m. Market's going to close at 4 p.m. Eastern, right? You got to be out shortly after, and I'd have a target for a break of the low, and a handful of people would be like, "Dude, that, whether we're using Edgeful or not," they'd be like, "Dude, that is not really a common occurrence. I don't know if you know that you're trading for something that is just not super common to happen." And we might have trended down on the day, right? There might be a nice break and retest. But objectively, and you could look for large sample sizes, 2 years, 3 years, over the last 2 years of data, YM's putting a low in for the day in the last hour only 16% of the time, 84% of the time. That's not happening. Again, a lot of other context comes into play here, but it could be helpful. It could be helpful, and maybe it gives you a little bit of confidence, trading in that power hour time frame. You are looking long. You want to move back in towards VWAP, and you go stop outside of low of day, and that gives you a little bit more confidence. Again, we could put a new low of day in the last hour for 5 days in a row, right? It can continue to happen over and over and over again. So it's definitely not something that is going to be clear cut, right? Anything can happen, but you could also look at what's been happening over short time frames, right? Like 6 months, 1 month, more recently, try to get a good feel. I like to look, if I'm going to use a report, I do like to look at like a big time frame and then a short time frame, right? Are we really just disrespecting one of these completely over the last 3 weeks? I probably want to know about that. So anyway, this is Edgeful. You want to check it out, links in the chat. Again, I'm partnered, I'm affiliated, I stand to make money. I could care less. These are maybe advantages to you, maybe not advantages to you. I try to give you guys the tools that I use with no gatekeeping. I talk about stuff. I want you to know where I get the information from, and this is it. This is it. But yeah, and again, a lot of these are common. This is stuff that a lot of people watch. But I'll give you something maybe that you watch that maybe I'll surprise you a little bit, right? NQ. A lot of people like to trade the orb on NQ, right? So they like to trade the 15-minute opening range. That's commonly referred to as the orb. So I can come in here, and on this initial balance report, I can customize this to show me the first 15-minute candle from 9:30 to 9:45 a.m. Eastern, right? On NQ over the last year. If we break out to the upside, how many times do we come back down and break the downside? What is the percent of a double break versus a single break? Take a look at this, right? And I'm showing you this one because I knew it. The orb typically breaks 50-50. Half of the days, close to half the days, we're going to break one side and not come back down and break the other. Half the days, we're going to break both sides of that 15-minute opening range. I don't think that opening range provides a really, really strong statistic for a trade to hold on to. Now, I will say, watching this market turn a little bit, I will say you can look at how far we typically break if we break out from one side, right? What does that first break look like? Because you might say, Zach, I don't care what happens after I take my trade long at the break of the high or short at the break of the low. I'm just going to capture a small movement, right? And we can look at, customize this even more. Check this out. If I go by performance, And again, you could backtest this stuff, right, guys? This is the exact information you get in backtesting. Just makes it easy in my humble opinion. Just kind of spoon feeds it to you, right? Let me... customizing this a little bit. Oh, no, it didn't work. Now, can I do this by first 15 minutes? There we go. Okay. Here's what I want to display, right? Because you might say, Zach, that's cool, but, maybe I don't want just percents. You might say, hey, Zach, I want to know on the first 15 minutes, on the orb, on NQ, right? Over the last year of data, if we go crack either side, what's the average extension that we get? How far do we typically go? What's the average? What's the max? Because there's going to be an insane max number, right? But who really cares about that? But what's the average we go? There it is, right here on the right-hand side, right? So, again, you might say the orb is still super helpful despite that it breaks, one side or both sides half of the time, which in my humble opinion is important to know. But that's okay because I'm in and out before, the next 3 or 4 or 5 hours of the trading session. I don't care if it comes back down and break the other side. So, it's all about context, right? How are you going to trade? What does your trade entry look like? What's the time frame that you're going to be in? And, maybe you could look at this stuff. Maybe this stuff will be helpful to you. Again, they have trading view indicators for this stuff. They have, individual information from all of it. I think it could be super helpful to have stuff like this at your fingertips to just snap your finger. But, it's up to you to decide, what's helpful and what's not helpful. So I'm just going to reset this because I don't think it resets on itself. Here we go. Here's our IB on, here's our initial balance for YM, right? For NQ, just in case you guys wanted to see it. Over the last year of data, if price breaks one side of that first hourly range, 77% of the time, over 77% of the time, we're not going back down to break the other side. If we break, we typically extend. We also know which side is more likely to break first, right? Let's actually just look at that one real quick because I'm actually curious what the percent is on YM, right? Which side of the initial balance is more likely to break first based on which side forms first and last? That's the question. And I think they call it by rejection. If you guys got questions, feel free to ask. Here we go. Yeah. Initial balance rejection, right? Here's the explanation. If we form, this is the first 1 hour, right? The first 1 hour of trading, right? Let's say these are, these are the candles that form. The highest formed first. The low is formed second. The low is more likely to break first. By what percent? And this one is pretty obvious, but could be good to know. By what percent? Right? 66% if the low is formed second, that the IB low breaks. 70% of the time, if the high is formed second, the high breaks first. So, again, just a little bit more of an indication, and you can kind of group these together. If you're going to use a specific range, you might want to know all the stats around that range. If you're going to use a specific, a specific instrument and a specific, time that you're trading, you trade every day, you trade, lunchtime, you might want all the stats around what that range looks like, right? What is the average range? Because they're pretty accurate over and over again. Volatility does change. It gets wild, but over the recent 1 month and 3 months, and then over the large sample size, how far do we typically go on any given day on YM, right? Why are you trading for a range that is way exceeding the average daily range? It's not as common to occur. Again, this stuff is all available to you just on the charts, in back testing, in forward testing, by staring at it. We trade based on pattern recognition for the most part, right? For technical analysis, or, some signal or indicator of one thing happened to another, or whatever crazy narrative you want to create. That's what this is. It's just laying it out in numbers, stats, and reports. Everybody learns differently, and I think it could be helpful. Can you do the same for ES, please? Yeah, sure. Which one do you want to see for ES? Just the IB, the initial balance? So initial balance, again, the first 1 hour opening range. Standard. Let me make sure I got my settings right. Hang on one second, guys. Yep, for New York. Got to be careful because if I go back in and change it. Yeah, we're on ES, initial balance breakout. Cool. Yeah, man, giveaways almost every day. Giveaways almost every day. Random days, random times. But here it is for ES, for the person that asked, right? Here's your initial balance breakout. Over the last year of data, if we break one side of that first hour range, we typically do not come back down and break that other side. Only 26% of the time are we double breaking, and a very small percent of the time we're not breaking either. You might say, that's cool, Zach. 1 year is not enough. I want to know over 3 years. What's happened the last 3 years? You can load that up. 67% of the time. You might say, okay, Zach, 3 years is not really relevant to what's happening right now. You know, what happened over the last 3 months? Nice strong trend, right? 70% of the time we're only breaking out one way, and right here, 70% of the time we're breaking out one way over the last month. Also, 30% of the time we're double breaking. No days out of the last 23 have we not broken it, right? So you know this by a really strong percent, right? A really strong percent, we're going to break one side, right? Not always. Here's the one day that we might be trading for and we don't break anything. But by a real strong percent, we're going to break one side. By a pretty strong percent, we know which side is more likely to break first. And we know that if one side breaks first, we typically don't come back down and break the other side. All of those things can be used in conjunction. We also know how far it's likely to move, although the average extension is a little bit tricky, man. I find oftentimes it's going to do something drastically different, and there's just a big spread of average numbers that they're glumping together there. But anyway, yeah, this is Edgeful. If you guys want to check it out, link is in the chat. To check this one. And yeah, if you guys want to see reports also, I'm happy to show it, to you. Like, I don't know if they want me to do that or not, but they change, right? They continue to change, so that's why it is a subscription. You can customize and look at different things, but it's important to know, like, I'll give you an example of one. On ES, what the report I was just looking at, the 15-minute opening range, for a pretty long period of time last year. And the ASFX boys and a couple other guys made me aware of this, right? I didn't discover it. ES was breaking both sides of the 15-minute opening range far more often than it broke one side. It was approaching like 75% of the time, the 15-minute opening range would set, and we're cracking both sides of that, right? So how can I use that to my advantage? If we go back up and break the high, we're pretty damn likely to go back down and break the low. So I was fading that. I was trading the opposite, really, of the orb, the opening range breakout. I was fading that, and it was pretty solid. That anomaly, right? That pattern was kind of short-lived, and it was easy to see in the data, right, from Edgeful. It just wasn't going to hold for a long period of time. If you looked for 2 years or 3 years of data, there wasn't this strong number behind it, right? We don't always do that, or we don't do that as aggressively as it was happening. So anyway, Edgeful, again, guys, no magic. Like, I try to grain of salt everything here. No magic. This is not the holy grail. This is not the answer, okay? Time, experience, discretion is the answer, in my humble opinion. Being a good risk manager and your mindset around trading. Can this help with these things? Can this help with your confidence, your mindset around trading? Can it also help with an understanding of the market in general and the typical movements we see on whatever instrument you're trading? Because, of course, this is going to be different for every single instrument, and it's going to be different for every time frame, right? The sessions that you're trading. Sure, I think so. I think this can shortcut a little bit of the stuff that you have to do painstakingly in backtesting, right? If I wanted to know about the opening range, which I did in the past and I was aware of, what would I do? I'd throw trading view in replay mode. I'd play the first hour of the trading session. I'd mark the high, I'd mark the low, and then I'd play the rest of the day forward. Oh, look at what happens. We went up and broke the high, and we didn't come back down and break the low. And we extended the high pretty nicely. It turned into a trend day. What happened the next day? Well, we broke the low. We didn't come back down and break the high, right? And you would go through and kind of, learn these things. It also happens just by staring at the charts. So anyway, guys, I think this could be helpful. I wanted to talk about it a little bit today. I haven't really showed it. I don't stare at it every day, but they have a whole bunch of other stuff on here just to show you real quick before I wrap it up. And any questions, feel free to ask. 15 minutes as well, please. We'll look at that in a second. Discount code started valid. Ooh, I'll take a look for you guys. But the link should be valid. Link should take you there. They have a what's in play as the market opens up for YM. They show you all of the reports, and I can come back to this once the market's open. And they can tell you if it's a bullish or bearish indication, right? They're going to tell you, do we open up with a gap? Are we opening gap up or gap down? What does that size look like? How far is it? Is that a bullish or bearish, indication, right? Over a large sample size, right? Over the last year. You can go to the report and look at it, right? Initial balance. What happens at 10:30 a.m. They're going to say initial balance high, initial balance low. Which side formed first? Which side formed last, right? What's more likely to break? Is this bullish, bearish? What are we looking at? Opening candle continuation. We looked at this one, right? And then a whole bunch of other ones. A whole bunch of other ones you could take a look at. They also have something that's a screener. This is kind of interesting. It lumps all of them together. I've been taking a look at this every morning. Kind of interesting. Once the market opens up, it gives you an overall bullish or bearish call and a percent, and then it explains why, right? The screeners that that it's combining to look at, and this is showing you ESNQ, RTY, and YM all together. So anyway, guys, yeah, we'll come back to this one. Maybe I'll talk about this today. But hopped on early, wanted to give you guys some juice today, right? Talk about some of the other tools behind the scenes. For the most part, guys, and I always like to grain of salt this stuff. Keep it simple. Keep it stupidly simple, right? I don't use any one of those reports to say, if this happens, then I do this, right? Price, context, overall discretion, right? My intuition and an overall general approach that I'm applying to the markets every day. I want to cater that to what's happening in the market, right? More often than not. So I think Edgeful, can be helpful for some of that data. They also have other ones. Yeah, man, I don't know. To you guys that are asking, I'll have to double check afterwards, but this is the link. I think I'm just one link.
Are you the kind of person who knows things?
I am just one straight up link. Here it is if you guys wanted to check it out. Edgeful and boom in Kick as well. I'll double check with them. Though. And in the meantime, if you guys want to see a report, feel free to let me know. But again, keep it simple. Keep it super simple. If you have something that's working, don't add anything crazy to that. If you're struggling, sure, maybe you look to expand a little bit. If you would like to know a little bit more about market movements on a new instrument that you're trading, maybe you're like everybody else and their mother that decided to start trading gold this year because it was ripping to the upside. Yeah, maybe you hop into a data provider, be it Edgeful or somebody else, and you look at the gold ranges, right? How far does gold typically trade in NYSE session, right? Does gold typically break out to one side and then trend for the rest of the day? If we open up with a big green candle or just a green candle, how often of the days do we close that day green? Or is it, much more mean reverting, chopping back and forth? What happens for average, what happens for prior day high and low? Do we typically go and break that prior day high and low, right? I think that stuff can be helpful. So guys, we sold off here. If I had to be in a trade into the open, here's what I'll be looking at. 9:15 a.m. Glad I hopped on early. We got to talk a little bit about this. I get the same questions over and over again, as you could imagine, and I don't mind having some live videos behind it. I could also answer questions in real time. Oh, 15, you asked for 15-minute. So this gentleman wanted 15-minute for ES. So what we were looking at, the 15-minute is not really strong. If I'm thinking correctly, I haven't looked at... Ooh, yeah. Not really strong. So here is 15-minute. They actually have one that's orb 15 minutes, so you don't have to customize it. Just want to double check. Standard. Yeah. So what this is measuring is the first 15 minutes, right? Do we typically break to the upside, downside, double, or no breaks for the entire trading day? It's almost 50-50, right? Even more percent of the time, we're breaking both sides of that 15-minute opening range. Now, again, this one's tricky because it's a quick range that forms, right? The first 15 minutes, and a lot can happen in the next hour or two before we come back down and break that other side, right? So you might want to say, how far do we typically go if we break one side, which I think is, hang on one second. I think it's by performance. Can I show this in dollars? By average performance. It'd be great if I could show this in dollars. But if we break to the upside, they're showing you if we break to the upside, we break to the downside. What is the average price what is the average performance? Like how far do we traditionally go, right? So you can say that if we break one side, we typically don't just sweep it immediately and then come back down and break the other side because the report shows me that, right? But as far as the breakout itself, if you're going to trade it directionally, I don't think that provides a really good indication for the trend of the day. But you would have to customize a lot, I think, around the orb and maybe get some data behind it. Be helpful. Here, let me look at ES. Interesting. So this is pretty interesting. This is giving you levels. Really cool. So I'm not going to go too much farther into this, guys, but if you want to check it out, it's here. You could look at different percents of the opening range itself, right? If we break, how far do we typically break? If we retrace, how far do we typically retrace? It's pretty interesting, man. Pretty interesting. I think this could be helpful if you are really hyper focused on a specific range, right, or time. I think this stuff could be super helpful. Super helpful. Anyway, here we are about 10 minutes into the open. I'm going to take a short break, guys. I will be right back before we open up. Want to see what happens here, but if I had to be in a trade, I'd be looking long. I'm not going to jump into anything right off the bat. I'm going to get rid of this right here because we got 10 minutes to the open. But I'm going to be back in about 2 minutes. About 2 minutes. Back in action, chat. Back in action with you. 9:24 a.m. Eastern. This was nice, man. Got the early jump with you guys. I like this. I don't know. I might have to think about the early AM jump with you guys. Good morning, Blue Water Cruiser. What's up? Lee, what's up? JB, what's up? Ooh, about to drop the beat on this one. Big Frank, what's up? What's going on, guys? What's going on? Appreciate y'all being here. As always, we're here 9:15. Usually, we were here 8:15 today. 9:15 a.m. Eastern, trading live, showing you what real trading looks like for me. Talking about Bookmap, talking about Edgeful today. Talk about a lot of tools that I utilize. Sometimes we talk about prop firms. Talk about top one futures that I'm trading here right now with you guys. So, let's talk about this open. And again, guys, always, Cooksmith, what's up? Feel free to ask questions at any point. I try to answer to the best of my abilities. As always, I don't have it all figured out. I'm certainly not a financial advisor, just a regular idiot talking about what I try to do to turn a damn profit here in these markets. So, sitting right here at this high. Not a big surprise. There's a reason that line is on my chart. Not a really big surprise here. Reading a couple messages. Yeah, so again, guys, if I was going to be into something pre-market, it would have been long in here back towards VWAP. I think we could pop right back up, come up, sweep a pre-market high, which is going to be up here, sweep a prior day high, and then maybe come back down. I also think we could sell off. I think we could dip really aggressively. My first two trade ideas are going to be long from right down here. I talked about this 48,000 050s, right? Long around prior day low, all the way into this area consolidation. This high from, excuse me, is this Monday? Tuesday? High from Tuesday. Right down into this area, right? If I had to draw a zone, which I don't like to mark up my chart too much. I don't like to mark up my chart at all, actually, here on YM. You know, this would be a little bit wide, but let's say that's the area, right? You know, somewhere in the middle ground of there, maybe even on the low end. If we started to sell off really aggressively, that's where I'd be looking for a potential long back up towards VWAP. Why? Mean reversion, right? I think if we crack to the downside off the open, we've been selling off here into pre-market. We crack to the downside off the open. I think we got a good way to structure risk down here for a pull back up to VWAP, pull back up to this area of high volume, maybe just a pull back up here to retest these like 200s, 250s. And if I'm wrong, I'm dead wrong. If I'm wrong and, you know, we find no buyers in here, where the heck do I think we're going, right? All the way back down here, you know, or maybe just back down here, but way lower, right? You know, if we don't find buyers in here, looking at the visible range volume profile, just making it stupidly simple in the 15-minute, I think we sell off, right? That's just how I base a lot of my trading decisions, off of volume profile, just market structure, level to level, right? Really, really simply. I think we're either going to push back up to the upside. I think that's more likely to happen first. I think a rejection, right? Support be found and then come back up to VWAP. That's why I would trade long. But do I know that that's going to happen? No. It gives me a way to structure risk. That's it. Conversely, if we crack to the upside, I'm going to be looking, you know, short somewhere in here. Be looking short somewhere in here. I don't like that as much because it doesn't give me as good of a way to structure risk, right? I think the short is valid anywhere from right in here, the 380s, like right off of VWAP, all the way up above yesterday's high. So that in itself is 155 points. I would really have to wait for something to happen up here, some kind of a rejection, some kind of price action to start to slow down, which I don't like to do. I like to enter really, really aggressively. But certainly above pre-market high or prior day high for a potential reversion back down. I don't like that one as much either because we're coming through VWAP if we do that, right? I'm shorting on a open up below and then a push through VWAP. As far as the open goes here, this is a bearish open, relatively bearish open, right? At least in my book. Opening up down below value area low and volume point of control, right? Headed towards prior day low. But we are inside of yesterday's candle, right? Here's yesterday's candle. And we're not too far off the middle ground, right? Here's going to be our, you know, our 50% of yesterday's daily candle, which was a nice bullish candle. So I could see it going both ways, but I'm going to look long on this. I think if we pop to the downside, short if we pop to the upside. Looking at the daily candle, which I really, really, really like doing, just gives me a good indication to say, what does this daily candle look like? You know, what am I shooting for? Am I shooting for a break of the high from down here? Do I think this is really going to flip with a huge, you know, bearish wick as we open up right here? Looks like it might not dump. Looks like it might pop right back up to VWAP. Daily candle, much, much higher time frame price action market structure. So, I don't like to say good luck, but good luck. Trade well, my friends. Structure your risk. Accept whatever risk you put on in the market. Anything can happen. These are still headline Trump markets. Good morning, chat. Green P&Ls for everyone today. Let's see it, man. Let's see it. I like that energy. Cooking with the beats. Yeah. Just random YouTube beats. Let's see, chat. Markets opened up here. A little bit of volatility, nothing too crazy. It does look like we want to go crack right back up to VWAP. Looks like the short in here might pay. When I first hopped on 815, I was looking at it in here. That would have definitely incurred some heat. But looks like right around this level would have given you a way to structure risk. Maybe just on a 100-point take profit, 100-point stop for a crack right back up towards VWAP. Looks like we're going to try to take a trip up there. NQ and ES looking pretty weak as well. ES opening up down below prior day low after not sweeping the high at all. NQ as well. Opening up to the downside down below Wednesday and Tuesday's low right now. Looking pretty weak. Do we get a rejection? Do we get a reversion out of those? Do we pop back up to VWAP, pop back up to that area of high volume? I think there's a pretty good likelihood of that happening. Morning, Aaron. Good morning, y'all. Got a bunch of people on. Good morning. Good morning. See if we don't get this reversion right off that high. Yep. Long back to VWAP. Yeah, this is going to be interesting now. It's going to be interesting now that we form this. Yeah, so opening up to the upside, we popped, sold off a little bit, and here we are opening up to the upside, a little over 100-point candle on YM, back towards VWAP. Not a bad play, right off the open, back towards VWAP. But I will say, since we talked about it so dang much, before I hop off for sure later on, we'll mark out the initial balance high and low here on YM. We'll mark out the area that price trades, right? The opening range. And then we'll talk about it tomorrow. Talk about it tomorrow on the live. We'll see which side forms first, which side forms second. Does that give us an indication, right? Do we follow the overall stats on which side is more likely to break first and second? And then what happens if we break one side? Do we break out? If we break one side, do we come back down and break the other? How far do we extend, right? Past that first 1 hour opening range. We could also take a look at kind of the same thing, but that opening candle continuation, right? Does the first hourly candle, the first 60 minutes of the session, open up bullish or bearish? And then what does that mean for the rest of the day, right? Asia, London as well. Pre-market can give you an indication, right? There's stats around. If we open up bearish, right, with the open up as in open up for NYSE Open right here at 9:30 a.m. with a bearish candle indicating a move to the downside from the open, right, up to pre-market, do we typically close bearish, right? Or do we typically close bullish? Some things that might be able to help out. I like to use these in conjunction, right? I like to use these things together to provide some context. Because I'm a discretionary trader. That's what seems to work well for me. Sometimes. Good morning. Good morning, scalper. Nas down. Nice. Price turned around at the top of the value area high from 29th. Yeah, it turned around from the high of the 29th. Yep, right here. That's that October high. Let's see, man. Let's see. So we popped up, got really close to VWAP here, and then are coming right back down on this. Watching this thing push lower, guys. Let's see. Let's see. I still think we go, we push right back up. We go and crack VWAP and head back to that prior day volume point of control. But that might be the sniff VWAP turn type of move. Nothing yet. Not going to do anything too crazy. I think a really aggressive long, like right into the open, would be the only thing that I would have on this type of action. But I'm kind of happy I haven't done anything just yet. Let this market show its hand, because we could be in for some back and forth movement here for a minute till we figure out what we want to do. Still looking long. Back up to that volume point of control from yesterday, back up to that area of high volume. But if we start to sell off from here after a pullback to VWAP, that could be a little dicey to run in front of. So I'm going to have to wait and see. As we come right back down to this low, looks like we want to try it. Let's see, chat. Let's see. Let's see if we come down to this area that I was eyeballing. Again, had a zone marked up here. Looking towards yesterday's low, Tuesday's high, into this area of consolidation down below this low. But so far, we got a level that price is hanging out at, right into this 48.215s. Trading this this October high right now. Do we want to break down? It certainly feels like it. Certainly feels like it. Let's see. I marked the value area high and lows and point of control from previous day that have not been touched. Only session and not overnight. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's a solid way to get some objective levels that you can look at every day. I think those can be very helpful to look at. I use a volume profile for the entire day, right? From the start of session changeover all the way through to the end of the session. And I pay attention to that value area low, volume point of control, value area high, along with everything else on my chart. This would have been a beautiful short, really close to that value area low that we just pulled back to, right? That could be a pretty simple one that you take every day. Opening up below the area of high volume from prior day, even value area low. You're looking for a pullback up there and a short continuation on something like that. This gonna be interesting, chat. This is gonna be interesting. Appreciate you guys hopping on as always. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the show. We're here live every day, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, 100% free. We got a 100% free trading Discord, which I will throw in both chats right now as well. No course, no VIP, no mentorship. What's up, Kobe? What's up, Relaxing Zen? What's up, Jess on Kick? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah, if you guys are not in Discord, feel free to hop in, man. More than happy to have you in there. Over 2,000 members sharing their journey. We got some heavy hitters, man. Some really heavy hitters in my Discord. Some guys that are very, very, very serious in the futures prop trading space. MNQ and MES sell off. Looking for a sweep of the 1 hour high, then a short continuation, but it's just falling. So my patience is going to be my friend today. I hear that. I hear that, Tom. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is looking kind of weak. This is looking kind of weak. NQ and ES dumping here. Aggressive sell-off from both of those. YM, as always, living in its own world. Being a little bit difficult to work with this week. I will acknowledge that. A little bit difficult to work with, man. I think we go. And I think we come back down. They are not wanting to let this thing go, though. Yeah, I could run a short play right above this high, like right at VWAP, which I just hate. This would be a continuation style trade. It's a little bit early for it. If we had cracked this and pulled up to prior day value area, volume point of control, and then aggressively did what we did and just, erase this move, start selling off to the downside, I'd be a little bit more comfortable taking something like that. there's definitely room to go to the downside. I think this wouldn't be a terrible trade, but I hate the invalidation point. I really don't like the invalidation point at all. But from this point on the chart, given the information that we have, if I had to be in, I'm in short, right? Initial play would be long from here, like we looked at, for a pop back up to VWAP. We kind of did that, got close, not quite there, not quite up here to this area of high volume, not quite up to volume point of control, but we did reject close, came right back down on this bad boy. I just think we could easily do this. I don't love this structure. I think we could easily do that, you know, and really sell off. But I don't think that we see that. I think this goes. I think this thing dumps right down towards prior day low. It's a little bit early, man, and the volatility could be tricky if we start to just get some wiki back and forth 50, 100-point moves, which we often get right into the open on YM. But if I had to take something, it's short. And I might look for it if we pull back up. This is going to be a tough one, man. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to jump right in here, guys. This structure is not it. This invalidation point's not it. Yeah, anywhere in here is just going to be tough to have a stop loss, man. Anywhere in here is going to be tough. No real standout levels here on Bookmap. As far as ES, pretty damn weak. CVD obviously sold off into the open. Do they start to find buyers over there and pop back up? YM has just remained very strong. Very, very strong. Obviously outperforming the other US indices. Just big pushes to the upside. As the others have sold off, like today, it is just maintaining. It's kind of, hanging out, holding levels, not really turning to the downside, continuing to push higher. So I'm a little bit cautious on this one. Yeah, if I take this one, man, I got to do another half risk. I got to do another half risk if I take this one. I'd have to give myself a second shot. This would be a $500 trade. Let's see, chat. Let's see. Continuation trade, valid enough for me. If this pulled back up a little bit higher off of the open and then aggressively sold off, I'd be happier with a continuation trade to the downside. I think I'm going to just stay patient on this one for now. Popping back up. I think we can come right through that high, go dance around VWAP, come right back up into this area. which it looks like maybe we're going to do here. If we come down to this low really aggressively on any type of pullback, like right from here, we just start to slam into it. I could look to sell into that. It's not terribly inconsistent for me. A stop right at VWAP that hasn't been hit in the session is just not great. But if we start to turn to the downside, I think we do have room. Tricky structure here. Tricky structure here. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know, so I'm not in. You know, if we really want to sell off, this could be nice. This could be really nice from up here. I just don't know if we're going to pop on this thing. Still like this short. I like the short, guys. Here's the huffing and buffing. I like this short. It's just not great structure. It's just not a great setup, man. I think if it goes, it could go nicely to the downside and aggressively. So I'm looking at putting risk. Sorry for being twitchy here. I'm looking at putting risk on the line. I'm trying to find an invalidation point that makes sense, right? If we come back above this high, is the trade done? You know, no. Here we go for another 15-minute bar that's going to try to form to the downside. You know, getting in really aggressively as we're pushing higher with a stop like way above pre-market highs, you know, could be a play. Just make it a one and done. I think I'm going to stay patient on this. I think I'm going to miss this next move. I'm going to forego it. We're either going to sell off, in my humble opinion, we're going to sell off to 48.050s. Right? We're going to come down here to the downside. Sell right off down in here, or we're going to pop right back up to this level. Right? You know, 200 points to the upside, 200 points to the downside. It's given some indication that we want to go lower. We're continuing to hammer into these lows. We got close to VWAP. This wasn't really enough of a pop up and then continue lower. to jump in for a continuation for me here. But gun to my head, I think we sell off here. But I liked long on the pre-market move for a pop back up. Really didn't get that. It's held pretty damn strong. Here we go. Got some momentum. This is looking kind of wiggly. Decision-making point. Looks like we want to try to come through this low. We need some Japanese music here. We need the way of the warrior. Oh, YM, man. What do you got for me? Let's see. Caught some drop on ES. Nice. This week specifically is very weak. For MYM, others are doing kind of better. Caught a quick drop. Nice. 1,061 on NQ. Very nice. Good morning. What's going on? This is Chop. Gonna wait for 15 minutes. Opening range to break. Last 2 days, YM's behavior nicer than NQ. Yeah, maybe. Stopped on the bounce, but looking to get back in. If it breaks below, W consolidation on 1 minute. Nice. That's all my accounts. Done for the day. Made 250 on my accounts. Thank you very much. Yep. Let's go Bears. Yeah, this feels like it, man, but I don't know. I just don't have a good invalidation point. I got a good directional play for continuation, but the way this structure is set up is just not great for me. And if I took a quick stop, I wouldn't feel too good about it. I think we go see the 48.050s if this is actually going to continue, which it looks like it wants to right here on YM. I just don't have the conviction to throw a stop loss right here, man. To go right in here with a stop loss, 20 minutes into the open. So I'm going to be stuck waiting. Patience. That's my job, right? Most of our jobs as traders. Not to try to catch every move, not to try to catch every single dip or pop in the market, to wait patiently for a really good way to structure risk, right? For a good invalidation level. I want to look at the chart and say, yeah, that's valid. I'm in. Not going to have another setup. I got an indication of one thing happening over another. This aligns with the way that I trade every day, and I'm going to put risk on. If I have to take the stop on this, I will do so in stride. Let's see what Marcus got for me today. Let's see. Appreciate you guys hopping on. As always, man. Thanks for being here. Y'all are awesome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Who's holding this up, man? Chat. Here or here next? That's what I'm looking at. That's my analysis. Here we go into 10 a.m. See, getting some bullish action here. Excuse me. Buyers not want to let this level go, man. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. You can go across the U.S. indices, ES, NQ, YM. You think we're going to continue selling off today? Do you think we're going to get the reversion? Do you think we're going to get the reversion back up? I think we go, man. I think we might start to go. Y'all let me know what you think. I think I will try Loan Assist for the first time tomorrow. Ham, send it. Send it. A bit late. Good morning. Good morning. What's up? What's up, Big Frank? What's up? New York VWAP. Yeah, New York VWAP is an interesting one for sure. I really try not to have too much on my chart these days, but New York VWAP is a solid one for sure. You know, especially if you're on like the 1 minute. You know, gives you who's in control, right? From a specific point anchored in time. Buyers or sellers. Let me fix that session VWAP, though. That's what the 1 minute chart would be looking like so far. Pretty damn choppy. Overall bearish, right? Lower highs, lower lows getting put in. We go, trying to move to the downside again. I think I'm just gonna have to stay patient on this one, guys. I don't like the invalidation point right here at the top of this, 15-minute opening range. I don't like it right at VWAP. I think it's extremely reasonable to say we pop right back up here, 100, 115 points, and then potentially continue the downside. In fact, if we did that, I would definitely be in short. If we popped to the upside and then rejected super harshly, but we didn't. We're just kind of hammering into this low. It looks like we want to break. Continuation trade, not terribly invalid, but if anything, I would run this one half risk with $100, probably like a 100-point stop. Let's see if we want to go here. Yeah, guys, just sitting patient on this one. This is an interesting open. I don't trust it. I don't trust it as far as I can throw it. Let's take a look at ES bookmap over here on the left-hand side. Too indecisive here, guys. I'm gonna stay patient on this. I can't throw something on this. No really clean invalidation level, so I'm gonna have to stay patient. I think at this point, the reversion trade would be a long. Excuse me, not to talk through a yawn. Reversion trade would be a long, right back up towards VWAP. Yeah, here we go. I wouldn't be too happy if I found my way into a short. If we pop back up there and then sell off aggressively back down towards this low, I would look for continuation short. That's probably going to be it for today. A continuation short play. If we pull back up and then come back down towards this low again, if we just keep hammering into this level, right? I think it's likely to break and we go down and we check out the 48,000 50s, 48,000 evens back down around prior day low. Could just chop around though. We could be kind of just a back and forth day here, right? We could just kind of dance around VWAP, pop back up to that area of high volume, which it looks like we want to do right now. Gun to my head now, I would be long with a stop loss just below this low. So just two back and forth and not a clear enough direction. So I'm gonna stay patient on this. No big reversion trade played out at all. We didn't really sell off or pump or do anything off of the open, right? For YM so far, this session range is very tight. 140 points. What is it exactly? Yeah, 140 points so far. We got plenty of room to move. So tight so far, not a whole lot of directions. Continuing to find buyers off of this level, although hammering into it. Pushing back up right now. Looks like we do want to go back through VWAP, maybe back up to this area. But I still think we can go either way from here, so I'm not going to do anything yet. Looks like ES and NQ are climbing back up a bit. Yeah, this is the stuff where it gets a little dicey, man. You start to want to find your way in, right? And then we kind of just get these like quick movements back and forth, right? Quick 50 points this way, 70 points this way. I think those two arrows that I drew on my screen, pretty obvious points, right? I think we're either coming back towards prior day volume point of control up here, right? Area of high volume, or we are coming back down towards this area of high volume right here, 48,050s to 48,400s, let's say. Those are our, our two areas of volume. We could dance around here. We're consolidating right down here. Could dance around here for quite a while. But if I get involved here, I'm kind of in the middle ground, aiming for, a break of one direction with a stop loss, tight, pretty tight. Here we go back up to the upside, man. Glad I haven't done anything yet. This is not it. Only thing so far that would have been halfway okay. Be long, long right off here, even with a pretty tight play. Back up for that movement. But as we were hammering her in down here, I'd be like, this is looking like we're gonna fail, So not anything too clear yet. Back up towards VWAP, back up towards this 15-minute opening range high. 20 minutes from initial balance, which we talked about a lot with Edgeful. We'll talk about that once it sets. We'll mark it up on the chart, and we'll come back to it tomorrow. I think that'll be a fun exercise to do with you guys. Lion looks like he's making a parallel channel in the 2-minute. Interesting. Weird price action. Yeah. Just kind of choppy, right? A little consolidating. Sold off to a key level in pre-market and then back up to VWAP. It's not inherently bad for price movement, but the price action is kind of back and forth here, man. Even on the 15 minutes, it's pretty back and forth. Painting my nails. I haven't found any entry for me. Missing the opening short, but looking like Hong Kong long opening. Yeah. If I was a woman, that might be what I'd do at the charts. Just sit back and paint my nails when price is not giving me what I need. What are we gonna do with this, man? What are we really gonna do with this? What are we really gonna do with this, YM? What is your game plan here? Back up to VWAP. Short from here would have absolutely sucked. Invalidation point anywhere in here would have been cooked. Longs from off this level, not bad. Are we gonna find sellers here again and come back down to this low? If we do, I gotta short it. If we dance around here, we crack VWAP and we can't continue at least up to this area, and we come back down, I'm shorting this thing. I'm shorting it with a stop loss right above the high, because at that point, if we pull this, we're coming back up, right? I think it would be really unlikely that we do that and then that. Not unheard of, could happen. But that would at least give me a way to structure, clean risk on the first trade. So if we come back down on this, I'm going to trade with that trend to the downside. It'd be another test and hold of VWAP. I'm not gonna take it. Not gonna take it aggressively off of VWAP here, because we don't have nearly enough in my direction to want to do that. Stop way out here would be okay. That would tell you you're completely dead wrong if we just came right back up on it. ES coming back up as well. Getting rid of that negative CVD. This is wait and see mode for me. NQ all the way back up, erasing that market, that morning move back up towards VWAP. ES at VWAP here. I am at VWAP. (10:15 a.m. Eastern here, guys. Sitting on my hands. Sitting on my hands here. Trying to get a feel for whether or not this is going to continue the downside or just come right back up on us. There's a short play here, man. A continuation. VWAP continuing to be held. That does not mean we have to sell off. We hammered into this low. We come back down towards to it. Come back down towards it. I think there's a chance that it breaks and we get some movement to the downside all the way back down here. We put a nice bearish candle in. And I'm tempted on the shorts from up here, guys. I really am. And validation point is tough, man. Validation point is so tough with this volume right here. It's just a trash setup. It really is. You know, wide stop loss out here, like super wide, you know, would at least say, hey, you're dead wrong for this move continuing to the downside here. Could run that with half risk, but I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about this, guys. I'd love to get into a trade here and make some money today, or at least get some risk on and attempt to make some money today, but I don't know about this, man. Holding VWAP here, not letting buyers take it above. Choppy, man. Choppy back and forth here. Yeah, even if we had this, like a little bit more aggressive of a run up and then a turn back down, I'd be more confident shorting it. But for continuation, I like a really clean invalidation level. I hate being stopped and then we get the move after. This is tricky, man. Tricky one. I know I'm locked in here, guys, but I'm just trying to get a feel because I think I'm assuming we're going to get a move out of this. I'm assuming we're not going to chop here for forever. We're either going to get the pop right back up and come back through the highs, or we are in fact going to sell off. I think there's a wick in store up here. There's a wick to be put in if we're going to sell off, and I don't know about selling down here. It's price action, man. It's going to test my patience, chat. It's going to test my patience. Let's take a look around the horn. Let's take a look at ES. Aggressive selling pressure back at VWAP. Where is ES going to go, right? Are we going to continue down and sell way off, put a big bearish day in? on Thursday here. We're just going to pop back up and come and hang out, you know, back up here. Looks like that's what that wants to do. NQ, you know, again with NQ, where are we going from here, right? You know, we sold off. We cracked all these lows. We got all the way down. We're back off of VWAP, you know, looking like we want to turn. Come all the way down here, like really aggressive to the downside, or are we coming back up to this area of high volume? You know, what's the move here? YM. Why are you doing this to me, YM? Nothing real notable on Bookmap outside of a positive growing CVD. ES had a heavy negative cumulative volume delta. Obvious buy volume came in. We're popping to the upside. That's aligning with that. It's not really giving us too much of a crazy indication of one thing over another, in my humble opinion. We got a 300-point day here. What are we going to do? Are we just going to put a little tiny inside day in? That's going to be it? I'm looking to short this thing, guys. I think this is going to be my play. I think this is going to be my play. Buyers failing to take it higher, at least for now. IB high and low getting ready to get set. We talked about that quite a bit. So far, this would be our IB low. This would be our IB high coming off this 930 candle. Unless we go up and put a higher high in here. In the next 10 minutes of trading. Next 8 minutes of trading, I should say. Excuse me. Yeah, 8 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna be no trade on this. YM, man. YM. Sorry for getting locked in here, guys. Again, I'm just I'm anticipating a move because it's just such a tight little choppy back and forth range, and when we start to move, I might want to execute. So apologies for getting locked in, staring at the chart, not really reading the chat. Trying not to be too distracted here, but this is like, I think I'm ready to take myself out of the staring at it, man, because this is just not it. This is not it. Dancing around the 48,300s here, right below VWAP. Can't really make a decision on which way it wants to go yet. I think we're either going to prior day volume point of control or towards prior day low. Maybe not all the way down to break it, but the 48,050s. Maybe a short in here if we pop really aggressively. Could try something like that, but this is just choppy, man. Overall choppy. All right, let's see. Let's see. What's up, Joe? Selling pressure. SMT, Asia low, SMT at high. I don't know what all these fancy words are. Give or take 10 minutes. Sudden, unexpected volatility pumping in. You're welcome. You can consider trading gold instead of indices. Indices can become crazy every now and then, especially between. No trades for me either. Too tough to call. Yeah, always better to test in a practice account or a demo account first. Wellesley. Yes, close below VWAP on the 5. There you go. Maybe bearish. Risk is a VWAP. Support it. NY VWAP. Interesting. Cool earphones. They're like these are just the fairly inexpensive. EDX Pro in-ear. I don't know, man. There's some KZ EDX Pro. That's the name of these. They're inexpensive ones. I wanted to try some of these in-ear noise canceling wired headphones out before I bought some nicer ones, but they're not bad. These are solid. I don't even know that I need more expensive ones. Honestly, they're super duper clear and pretty good at like noise canceling. Fit comfy. Wire's a little bit annoying, but I'm also trying to not die from just, I don't know, I watch too many videos on Bluetooth killing everybody. But I still use Bluetooth stuff all the time. Anyway. Yeah, Tushar, awesome. Tushar won an Elite Challenge account from a while ago, and he waited way too long, so apologies for that. Glad you got the account. Yeah, we handled that yesterday. That was my bad. My bad for sure. Made 242 and close the charts. Close the charts. No more fooling around. ESNQ held it below open. Yeah, this looks weak. Like I said, guys, this is just not it. Not it, chat. Not it. Not it. Gun to my head, I'm short, but I don't have a gun to my head, so I'm not short. Is this IEM? Yeah. It's the same stuff that you see everybody wearing right now. There's always something that, everybody's trying to try out, but a little bit comfier. I was never a big fan of the huge over-ear headphones. They're just like kind of clunky and a lot to have on your head, but I wore them. It's nice to get some noise canceling when you're trading. Yeah, man, I'm still not gonna take this. This looks like we want to come back down potentially and break this IB low that's about to set. If we break this low, we typically don't come back up and break the high. Although we have a minute and a half for this to actually set. Holding VWAP buyers not able to take it above VWAP multiple times. But overall, very choppy. Like, overall, very, very choppy here. So, if I had to take something, it's short. But I don't know that I want to take anything. I don't have to take anything. Short down to this level. What is ES and NQ doing? Yeah, retested VWAP and selling off pretty harshly on both of those, looking like they want to go down and challenge that low. That is going to be interesting. Interesting. All right, we got 10:30 a.m. We got our IB high and low. If we go and crack that low, man, this is a tight one, though. It's a really tight one, though. I'm going to sit patient on this, guys. I don't love this structure. I still think we either come down to the 050s or back up towards the, let's call it the 430s, the 48 430s. If I had to trade this directionally right now, I'd be short, but I flip-flopped 3 or 4 times on those calls, you know, on that comment. This is choppy overall. It's very choppy overall. Bearish structure from the overnight session coming into the open. Pop back to VWAP, holding this, right? Lower highs getting put in, hammering below this support. It's not a bad play to the downside with a stop right above this, where if we go and run these highs, I think we're probably coming back up to volume point of control. If we start to break out to the downside, I think we're probably coming back down towards prior day low. So it's not a terrible play. I was waiting for a little bit of momentum or movement for a continuation here to hop in and not just complete back and forth chop. The other option is just if you're going to short it either way. There we go. Got a little bit of selling pressure coming in there. I'm going to try this one with you guys. I'm going to try this one on the continuation to the downside. I'm going to go stop. Yeah, I'm going to go stop right in here. Actually, let me frame this. Yeah, this is going to be a continuation to the downside. I want to see a break of this low and a continuation down towards, again, the 050s. I'm in short 1 mini. Stop above the highs, right? Stop above VWAP. If we have to come up through this level, I'm going to be out. You know, running it way out here would allow for a crazy wick to come in and do something nuts, but I don't think I'm going to do that. That's not my thesis. If we continue to chop here, you know, we get this back and forth BS movement. We come back up on this. We come back to this area of high volume. You know, I'm out. So I think I'm going to come... Yeah, I think I'm going to come right in tight with it. I want to see this thing continue. We start to get some selling pressure here. A little bit wiggly to the downside. We're hammering into this low again and again and again. So I'm just trying to drag my stop around, see really where I want to go with this thing. Anything crazy stand out on bookmap? No, not really. Not really. Yeah, so I'm going to keep this one manageable. Right? If we come back up above these highs, I'm out. I think probably something like that is going to be fine. Sorry to be twitchy with this, guys, but I'm going to go right there. $640 worth of risk. 48, 342. Continuation trade to the downside. It's after 10:30. We're coming down to break this IB low, or at least we're going to challenge it right now. We know if we break out to, we know this side is more likely to break first, right? Because it formed. Wait a minute. Let's go back and actually look. Here's our IB high. We can mark it up like we said we were going to do. For tomorrow, we'll come back and look at it, right? We'll see how it played out. Here is our IB low. Here is our IB high. Let's do that. As we are continuing to the downside, at least for now. Ooh, we were right in there. But yeah, that's going to be our IB low. That's going to be our IB high. We know that which side formed first? We know that because the low formed second, right? We have that nice statistic that we looked at through Edgeful together, that this side is more likely to break first. Hooray, that side broke first. You know, statistic number 1 playing out. We know that throughout now the trading session, more often than not, right? More likely than not, about 70% of the time, we do not come back up now and break this high. On a day like today, where it's tight, here's where the context comes in. I think on a day like today, where it's kind of a tight range, we are more likely than on a day where it's a really, really big IB put in to maybe try to come back up and challenge that. But we are trading with that stat. I don't always do that, right? I talked about that. It's not always or ever exclusive to looking at that one thing. But it's important to note some of those things. Now, would like to see us get down below this, can start to close outside of this IB, continue the downside. For targets on this, if you guys are new here watching me, I traditionally don't run a fixed take profit. I don't like to do that. I like to manage my trades with discretion to the upside and downside, but it's going to be down into this area of high volume, right down in here. Not going to look for a crazy banger trade. Not going to look for anything insane, although we certainly could start to sell off, get down around prior day low. Looking good so far, right? Sellers trying to take this thing lower. If we come right back in on it, it's going to look pretty nasty. I think a test of this level, maybe right back in here, would be okay before continuation. But I'd love to see this thing go. I'd really love to see this thing continue the downside and sell off. Again, target the same level that I've been watching, the 050s, 48 050s, somewhere down around that level. If we can continue to push. If not, we come back up. Maybe we do this. Like, maybe we do that. Certainly could. YM is pretty big. This is the 15-minute chart. I'm pretty zoomed out. This is over a 100-point stop. I'm not traditionally very tight with it. But I think that would be less likely to happen. If we did come all the way back up here, that invalidates the trade, right? We're not continuing to the downside. We're not coming down to this, this area of high volume. We're blasting right back up. We're just going to sweep lows, dance around here at the, this October high, and, that's going to be it. We're going to have a failed auction, come right back in and push to the upside. Certainly could happen, but I'm going with a continuation on this one. That's my play. The reversion trade was not a setup right off of the open. There's a mean reversion, still okay to take right back to VWAP, right back up to this area. But like I mapped out a couple times as well, I think we come here or here. And I'm saying here first. Let's see what we get. That's my trade. Short one, YM from 48 to 14, currently $300. But so we don't go from the dollar amount, because that really doesn't matter. That dollar amount can be whatever we want it to be based on contract sizing. Giving me 65 points of profit so far. Stop loss up here at 48,342, which is about 128 point stop loss here on YM. We got some selling pressure. Come on, man. Come on, man. Get down below that IB low from yesterday. Let's see it, YM. Let's see what you got for me today. Let's see what you got for me today. Trades on, though, in profit, running. Can't be too unhappy about that. Let's see, man. Let's see if we grab a little one-to-one out of this bad boy. Keep the payout train rolling. Ended break even yesterday. Technically negative $4 after a win and a loss. Size down to give myself that ability, right, to take a follow-up trade if I needed to. That worked out pretty well for me. Allowing myself discretion with risk management has been definitely helpful over the last year. I'd say it's not for everybody. Definitely not for the beginner trader. But nice breakdown to that IB low. Let's see. Are we just going to dip down and come right back in? That's going to be the question. Dump it. YM short below 48,100. The Bears need to wait for YM to form a break of 48,100. Okay, Rob's looking for 48,100. Yeah, definitely an interesting spot, right? Definitely an interesting spot. That's a take profit for me, right? 50 points, 25, 50 points below that is going to be a profit for me. If we get there, we'll have to see. Possible gap fill on NQ. Hit the like button, boys. Yeah, 63, 61, 63 people here on the YouTube live, 41 on X, another dozen on Kick. You guys know the drill. We run the likes up. We're gonna give some accounts out, man. We did an account giveaway yesterday, a duck race. You guys start smashing the like button. We'll run another one today. Yeah, man, I want to see this thing go. I really want to see this thing go. Now, I don't want to see it come back up after doing this. We come back up through this. Could be dicey. Here we go to try it through the lows again, guys. Yeah, so I talk about stop loss to break even a lot. I really am not a fan in general. I wait until price has moved considerably in my favor the way that it has now, close to a take profit area where I really wouldn't want to let that trade come completely back turn into a loss. I would say at that point, the trade moved in my favor. My entry wasn't good enough. My take profit wasn't aggressive enough. And, if we come all the way back up, sure, could just be the clean little break and retest. But I don't know that I want to let this one come all the way back on me. So I want to acknowledge that now as we have already moved almost 100 points in the direction of my trade. If we start to turn super, super aggressively on this one, which I'm worried that we might. I'm cautious that we might just dip down here. And if we're not going to get some continuation, what are we going to do, right? Come right back up to VWAP, right back up to, prior day volume point of control. So I don't think I'm going to let this one come back on me. I don't think that I'm going to do that. I'm going to go stop loss to break even on this. I acknowledge that there's definitely a case where we just do this, right? And not going stop loss to break even, is going to help me. But on a structure like this, the trade thesis for me is that we continue. We push a little bit farther down. We go 60, 70 points lower. I snag profit on this, and I'm out for a W. Not that we chop around like crazy and then we trade 300 points lower. It's we go and we go now. So in that case, my stop loss is now at break even plus a couple ticks, 48,209. Back above that IB low. So continuing the downside, man, selling pressure looking okay. I'd love to see a little bit further of a push before we potentially crack back up. Not looking to make this thing a home run. $435, $500 showing. Not really enough for me to take it. I think if we're gonna do what we're doing right now, we got a good chance to come down here. But I'll allow this one to just be an L if it has to be an L. I mean, a break even if it has to be a break even. Risk free. Again, I don't know, man. I didn't love this price action here where I had to stay patient and get involved. I like my entry. Really, really nice entry. I waited patiently for some momentum to the downside, right? Just a little bit of discretion as we held VWAP multiple times. I really can't complain about not having to take any heat on this trade at all. We just started to sell right off, so I'm happy about that. Caught a nice dump. I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit more. I make notes on my review. Most of my trades I could grab more out of. Most of them are not coming, all the way back on me. They are, continuing in the direction of my trade, the way this one is doing, at least for now. Let's see. Coming into this consolidation, getting real close to that low from Tuesday here. Not quite there. I want to see this dip a little bit further down, man. Give me another 75 points. I'm going to forgo this $500 profit, right? I'm going to let this go back on me to break even if it has to, in pursuit of grabbing a little bit more of a push to the downside. Not looking for an insane dump. Not looking for below prior day low, right? Still a decent area to look for profit. But right down into those 450s, I'm going to look to join bid out. A little bit over a 1-to-1 as well. I don't trade based on risk to reward. I try not to pay too much attention to it, but I am aware of it, right? I'm cognizant of it. I understand, well, how much would this trade have lost you if you let it go all the way to your stop loss, right? Before you were able to manage a trade, which we're able to do, and close for partial wins and close for partial losses. There we go. 480s. A little bit more of this one. A little bit more. I'm going to grab this one, guys. Ooh.
Order filled.
I'm grabbing it right there, guys. A little bit ahead of that 450s. This one could continue down, but I'm happy with that. 687 in profit in the live account. Able to request a withdrawal today, which I'll probably do just for fun. Put 500 and some odd bucks in my bank account. Simple, man. Simple base hits. I talked about starting to scale this account, which I'm considering doing. But yeah, 550 bucks after a 20% 80-20 profit split. Can't complain, man. I really can't complain. And when something works out quickly in my direction like that, really quickly, where I don't have to take any heat, and I can get stop loss to break even, I really got to be cautious. Like, if I'm not going to allow breaks and retests, I got to be, I got the push, I got the pop lower. I don't want to be super greedy about it. Waited a little bit longer, was tempted to take it up here. Let's see if we get the 50s. Looks like it will. Looks like this is going to be another one that I say, hey, you were eyeballing 30 points lower, and you probably could have given yourself $1,000 on that one. But I'm happy with that one. Happy with that trade. Really can't complain with a setup like this, right? Can't complain. Almost no heat taken. Waited patiently. This tested me, man. This tested me multiple times. But here we go with a break of IB low, right? Playing out. We talked about that edgeful stat from today. Really, really clean. And here we go right into the 450s. My note is going to continue to be just hold them longer and longer and longer, right? Here is my take profit. Do I want to give up, 140 points for another 25 points? Not really, but I always want to try to maximize my trades. And here we go right into the 450s. Let's see if we actually crack, the 48.050s. I keep saying 450s. Let's see if we crack that. We go trade like the 49s. But W, man. There we go. Yep, there it is. Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to put. I don't know. I'm gonna have to put the dunce hat on and just say, dude, you gotta just set a take profit at a certain point and grab another, another $100 out of it. But it's part of it, man. Part of it. See, I'm always trying to review what could I do better, what went well. That was a nice one though. Smooth, really smooth. So we got a W. I think you guys know what time it is. It's after the trade. We don't always do it right after the trade. We've been on super early. Can someone in the chat let me know what time it might be? W, bro. Knew it was coming, but didn't take it. Hindsight. Yeah, nice trade, bro. Still holding short from 48.174. Only 5 micros. Yeah, this thing could go. This thing could this could absolutely go, right? Our ES and Y. Yeah, ES looking hella bearish as well. This is a red day. This this could continue really aggressively. And YM, if it starts picking up steam, could absolutely go, man. This could go and trade, a couple 100 points lower, no problem. Like, no problem. All of these in alignment to the downside, looking like a pretty weak day. And not a lot. YM's under 1% down on the day. This is still, let's look at a daily candle. This is not a huge range. We're getting there, but not a huge range. Yeah, we still got room. Still got room to go. Easily, man. Easily down in here. So, I'm making my trading decisions based on, my discretion, my approach. I would be a little bit cautious here, right? If we're going to find buyers, where might we find buyers? Let's zoom all the way out on the 15-minute chart. Like, where might we find buyers? Right here. We crack this, we start going. We could easily go 60 points and then turn. But we start to get down below, let's say, like 48,000 evens down into like the 950s. Where's next? All the way down here, right? All the way down. Where's the next area of consolidation? Where's the next potential support zone, order block, whatever you want to call an area where, price is traded in the past with some volume, all the way down here. So, you might say, oh, Zach, you clip all your trades early. You could hold for, 3R or something. Maybe. I like my nice decent win rate and decent risk to reward. That's how I trade. But I do have to journal. I do have to write this one. I was into the 70s for that close. Easily to the 50s. Another 27 points. Another, what's like 27 times 5, let's call it. Another $135. You have to accept that if you hold for those, there's going to be days where we don't do that and we come right back up on you and you're out. So, you got to make your peace with either way you go. But I think that's the only note on this one for me. But good continuation trade. Didn't try to fight this breakdown. Waited patiently. Didn't get involved in all of this chop. Really waited till we got IB and then we started to get a little bit of momentum in here. If I have to say that, maybe we could see it on volume here. We started to get a little bit dicey right in here, right before I hit that sell button. And I do look for that. That's just a little bit of discretion, right? My very little bit of read of movement, right? Market movement. So anyway, there we go. One person, duck time. There we go. We're going to do a giveaway, guys. We are going to run a giveaway for a Top 1 Futures 50K straight to Sim Funded Pro account. If you guys can run the likes up. Run it up. Let's get to 80 likes real quick. Giveaway at 80 likes. Let's do that, guys. I think you could hit that in 2 seconds. I won't even have the form ready. But let's go ahead and give away a Top 1 Futures straight to Sim Funded Pro. If you want to check out Top 1 Futures, I'll throw this in there. 55% off, still running, chat. Somebody asked me yesterday, this is going to run. This is going to continue to run. But I see we got some comments in the chat. I'll be chatting with you guys in a second. Let me get this form ready to roll. We'll get somebody funded. Get another instant funded account given out. But yeah, man, I'm grateful. We are we're trucking away. We're trucking away in this live account, man. Have not had to take too much heat. It will absolutely come. The losses will come, right? I took one with you guys yesterday. Took a L, getting short in here. Took a small win, got it back. We ended up break even. And here we are, another 687 in profit. It was 1,000 on Friday. Not a whole lot of trading in between. I've really been particular with my trades. I haven't been taking dumbass trades in this account at all because there's no reset button and it's paid me. It's definitely helped me. My journal reads almost every day. I'm not always, writing big journal entries, but when I review and I look at the market and I look at my patience, I look at not taking a trade almost every day. If I found myself into a trade when I really shouldn't have been, right? And I didn't stay patient and I didn't have a no trade with you guys where I really don't want to not trade. I talked about it on the last one of the last sessions. It's boring. I don't love staring at the chart, not making money or losing it. But I think that's something that has definitely been helpful coming over to this account, where I am being more patient, taking it more seriously, being less aggressive, not just trying to find my way into a trade every damn day. All right, 83 likes. There you go. You guys hit it in 2 seconds. All right, guys. Here's the deal. Here's the rules. Giveaway form is live in the chat. This is going to be for one straight to sim funded pro account with Top 1 Futures. Only fill it out one time. Don't spam the form. Don't use your brothers and your grandmas and your sisters and your everybody's email, okay? If you do that, you're going to get banned from everything, from the giveaways, from Top 1 Futures, from all of my socials, from the live sessions. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Give me mad extra work, and then I can't run fun giveaways where it's open for everybody free here. Don't ruin the fun. Also, you got to be here. I'm going to do this in 5 minutes. You guys have until 11 a.m. I'm going to be strict on this one. 11 a.m. Eastern. Giveaway is shut off there. We're going to get the ducks loaded up and run the ducks. 5 minutes. If you can't hang out for the next 10 minutes, don't fill the form out. You got to be here to claim it, okay? Got to be in the live session somewhere to claim it. Only exception there is if I know you as a Discord OG, you're in my community, you contribute all the time, you're on the live sessions. I'm going to assume that you were here and you filled the form out and for some reason your internet connection died. But let's run it. I'm going to give you guys a minute to get this one filled out. I will be right back. Form is in the chat. Hang on one second. Form is pinned in the chat. If you are on X, what up, X? Come over here to Kick or YouTube. You get the form. Real Deal Zach and or Real Deal Futures. You can find them on both. We're live. Be right back, guys.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, it's his job to keep the power on. That's why he chooses Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call, click, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's see. You get the code from, yeah. If you guys win the account, it'll come straight from Top 1. I've done some different stuff in the past, but right now, if you win this account today, it will come directly from Top 1. Straight to your email. So also, provide the email that you use with Top 1. If you don't do that, I'm going to assume, if I don't know you, I'm going to assume that you were scamming. Part of the game. Part of the game, chat. Damn. Damn, YM. Woo. Look at the shorts go. Look at the down day. Damn, son. Continuing to the downside. W trade. Pro trader, that's great. Took a pre-market trade for a small L, but closed out for a nice W. That's part of it, man. So from my message at the start of this live, I did end up taking the trade today. One of my key levels was VWAP, but I need a continuation confluence, and we had no retrace, no trade. There you go. That's it, man. Tom, that's the key, dude. That's the key. Wait for your setup. Wait for your entry, right? You know, wait for whatever you need. That's it. Coming up on 11, guys. Coming up on 11 a.m. Form is pinned in the chat. Get it filled out. We're going to run some ducks. we're going to give away, if you guys are new and you don't know what the duck race is, we're going to give away an instant funded account. We use the duck race just to pick people. Remember, if you spam the form, if you fill it out more than one time, I'm going to go to great lengths to ruin your day, because you're ruining my day and you're ruining everybody else's day. And I've been really nice about it in the past. I've asked people nicely and done nothing and allowed them to continue on. But if you spam the form, if you use another email other than the email that you have with Top One, your singular one, I'm going to get you banned, man. I'm going to get you banned from all of my stuff, from prop firms, multiple maybe. I don't know. But don't do that, please. Be cool, man. Just be cool. All right, guys. That's 11. That's 11. Finish up. Give you guys another 30 seconds. If anybody's still filling the form out, 30 seconds. We're shutting it down, and the duck race is getting started. Let's go. Slothfather picked up. I missed this message. Picked up Edgeful with your link last night. Don't know why I didn't get it sooner, but glad I could support the channel. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, well, maybe you liked the message. We were yapping about it all morning, man. I think it's helpful. I think Edgeful is super helpful. It's the stuff that we all look for in backtesting. They lay it out really, really easily. It's hard to dispute. Doesn't always play out so nicely like that, where we set a little range and then just rip 200 points to the downside. But, look at the reports, mark it on your chart, decide. We'll come back, still have a whole session. We'll come back and see if this gets broken, right? We don't know. All right, guys, form is closed. We are done. We are donezo. All right, let's get the ducks ready to roll. We have, you guys got busy today. We have 89 ducks in a row. Let's go, man. We're going to get it done today. 89 ducks in a row, guys. Again, this is for a Top One Futures straight to sim funded pro 50K. Let's look at what we're giving away here every day real quick. Let's just see what we're giving away. Every day, bro. Every day we're giving out $200 on the stream. I like it. I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty sweet. I think it's better than a reset or a little something light. This is the one you're going to be winning today, guys, if you take the W on the duck race. If you want to check out Top One Futures, you don't want to try to win anything, you just say, hey, Zach, give me the best deal. Code RDF is going to do it for you. Code RDF is going to get you, as you can see down here, code TRADE says, what happened to music? Code TRADE down here says 50% off. That's interesting. We have 55% off with code RDF. Is that a mistake? I don't know. Maybe go to the site and check it out. I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. I stand to make money. I can't be unbiased. If I stand to make money. So always do your own research. Make your own decisions, right? Same with Bookmap and the others. All right. Without further ado, good luck, everybody. The ducks are off. Crazy how many straight to funded accounts you give out, not complaining. Yeah, man. Plus, I think you guys got a pretty good opportunity to win. Look at how many people are on the live stream every day. There's not that many of you. Y'all are hanging out on live streams with 1,000 people, with 3,000 people. You're up against those odds. Right now you got a 1 in 89 chance of winning a $200 account, a straight to funded, no activation, no challenge, straight from Top One. I don't know. I think that's pretty good. Let's see. We're talking. Zach, I have to say thank you. I'm only now starting to develop patience and taking bigger TPs. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. You gotta. It sucks, but you gotta, man. And I still work on it, right? I'm still working on it. We're all still working on it. But review your trades. Review your trades. And you know what? When I review this, I know the Ducks are running right now, but when I review this or wherever I got out here, and I go, look, every time there's more for me. Almost every single time there's more for me. You know, I'm going to hold longer. All right, 30 seconds to go. Cook Smith down on the bottom. Chris Swan, Colby Clark, PSMS Investments, Tricky Fiber up top. Wander Walks. This is a tight pack. Chuck, Rizal, Wellesley. I don't know, man. 20 seconds to go. This is a very tight pack. Bags looking strong in the middle there. JNRVing. He's going for the back-to-back W. Oh, man. Can he do it with the top hat? Zach, Frenderich, Tricky Fiber looking strong. Who's this in the middle? Polly looking really strong. Oh, man. Polly, are you going to take this one again? Oh, my gosh. Chat. Polly, tell him how many times now. What this we got to repeat. Here's the other thing. We only have 89 or whatever the number is. You got a chance to win more than one time. Pally with the W again. Account number, I don't know. This has got to be account number 3 for this person. Not back to back. I will say we've had plenty, but W's in the chat for Polly, the number 28 pirate looking duck with the red and white hat thing on its head. W's in the chat. Let me see. Let me just see this one. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Listen, man, the Ducks don't lie. The Ducks don't lie. They know who needs the account. They find you out. They seek you out. They know who is yearning for that account, and they get you funded, man. Hella W's in the chat. You guys are mad funny in the chat. Let me mark this one so I don't mess it up. W Pally, you'll be getting this account after the live session. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for showing up every day and being here, because I know you are here often. But random, just for the record, you were like in the middle of the pack for this getting filled out. So anyway, guys, if you missed it today, we give away accounts almost every damn day on these live sessions. 100% free, no purchase necessary. Almost every day. Not every single day. Almost every single day. Random days, random times. You fill a form out. You got a chance to win. You guys want more chances to win? Hop in the free Discord. I'm doing giveaways left and right. Guess what? We got another giveaway rolling right now on my X account for 2 50K instant fundeds. If you follow me across socials, you got even more chances to win accounts. Or just come and hang out and maybe we take W's, man. Only thing I could have done better on this one was just never close. Another one that gets filed under never close the trade. Almost another 100 points down for my close. We got short right in here. No complaints, man. No complaints whatsoever. Got short right in here. Something along these lines. It was a little over 100 pips. 100 ticks to the stop loss. Took profit somewhere in here into the 70s. Was looking for the 50s. Those filled. And we are continuing, man. Not a huge knife, like as far as the rapid movement out of this. We're kind of just slowly drifting, as you can see on the low time frames. But this thing is selling off, man. This thing is selling off. Happy to catch a part of it. And that's all I got to do. My job is not to catch the whole move. It's not. Not to catch the whole move, man. If I can catch this, right? If I can catch this part of the move, I'm good. Happy. I'm fine with this, right? Here's our day. Here's our entire session. If I'm in and out here, I'm good with that, man. No problem. Especially on a no heat type of trade like that, no complaints. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Let me wrap it up real quick. Feel free to check out Top 1 Futures. Check out Bookmap, which we talked about. Check out Edgeful. Check out whatever you want to check out. You want to support me, support yourself, support the channel. Code RDF for everything. Links down below this video. Links in the chat. Links everywhere. You can go to realdealfutures.com for all of my stuff if you want to check that out. Remember, no course, no VIP. I'm here trading live every damn day. Actually live trading. I've been trading the same Top 1 Futures live account. This is going to be, I don't know, payout number 10 from the account. Every trade taken live with you guys or called out live in real time in my Discord. I actually went back and checked, and every single one was done that way. I don't know really many other that do it this way, that are also showing execution stops and targets. I just don't. A lot of guys are trading live, ripping through accounts, doing a whole bunch of different fun stuff. Trying to show you what real trading looks like for me. It's definitely not always like this. I show you losses when I was trading that 7-pack of straight to sim funded pros, and it was back and forth, painful. And then we did the postmortem, right? I lost them. Trying to show you what real trading looks like, man. It's not all roses and rainbows. I don't have it all figured out. It ain't always a green day like this. Sometimes it's an L yesterday. We try to keep it controlled. Anyway, guys, hope you had a good trading session so far. Hope you have a great trading session. Hope you continue to level up, get better and better, and you become one of the very few that actually turn a profit trading, because it's very, very difficult to do, and almost nobody makes money. And that leads me to the disclaimer. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do, I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you always do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partner disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, and Edgeful. All three of those we talked about today. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money, if I'm an affiliate or partner. Important for me to be transparent about that, which I always am. And for you to grain of salt it, be a normal human, do your own research, make your own decisions. I'm not you. I don't know what's best for you. I don't know if it's the best. I'm just a regular idiot on YouTube. You guys figure out what's best for you, and you go and do that. Appreciate you being here if you watched this long. Thank you, guys. I will see you in Discord. I'll see you here tomorrow morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great trading day.